Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Boundless English. I am so glad you are here with us again today. I'm Jade.
And I'm Alex. And honestly, I have been looking forward to this episode all week because today's topic is something I personally struggle with every single day.
Alex, as soon as I told you what we were covering today, you went very quiet for a moment.
I did, because it hit close to home. Very close.
Well, friends, today we are going to talk about something that almost every English learner needs. And honestly, something that most people in general find very difficult. We are talking about how to say no politely in English without feeling guilty and without damaging the relationship.
And I think the word politely is doing a lot of work in that sentence, Jade. Because saying no is one thing. Saying no in a way that is kind, professional, and still firm, that is a completely different skill.
Exactly. And that is what we are here to help you with today. By the end of this episode, you will have 8 powerful phrases, 8 ways to say no in English that are natural, respectful, and confident.
8? That is even more than last time. I like this.
We have been listening to your comments, friends. You asked for more phrases and more examples. So today, we are giving you exactly that.
Before we get into the phrases, though, Jade, you mentioned you had a story about this. About a time when you really struggled to say no to something?
Oh, yes. I was hoping you wouldn't bring that up, Alex.
I absolutely am bringing it up. The people need to hear this.
Okay. So a few years ago, I was working in an office, and my manager, who was a very kind person, by the way, asked me if I could take on an extra project on top of everything I was already doing.
And what did you say?
I said yes, immediately, without even thinking.
Of course you did.
And then I went home and I sat at my kitchen table, and I thought, why did I do that? I am already overwhelmed. I don't have time. I don't even have the energy. But the words, I'm afraid I can't, just wouldn't come out of my mouth.
Because we are taught that saying no is rude.
That it means you don't care, or you're not a team player, or you're being difficult. Exactly. And that pressure, that fear of disappointing someone, it makes us say yes when we mean no. And then we end up exhausted, resentful, and doing a worse job on everything because we took on too much.
I know that feeling so well. I said yes to something last month that I absolutely should have said no to, and I spent 2 weeks stressed about it.
And here is the truth that took me a long time to learn. Saying no when it is the honest answer is actually more respectful than saying yes and not delivering. It respects the other person's time, it respects your own limits, and it keeps the relationship honest.
That is such a reframe, Jade. Saying no is an act of respect.
Exactly. So today, let's learn how to do it well, in English, with confidence and kindness.
I am very ready for this. Let's go.
Okay, phrase number 1. And this is a classic, a phrase you will use constantly in professional situations, in emails, and in conversations. The phrase is, I'm afraid I can't.
I'm afraid I can't. Now, I want to ask you something, Jade. Why do we say, I'm afraid? Are we actually scared?
Great question. No, we are not actually scared. In English, I'm afraid is used as a polite softener. It signals to the listener, what I am about to say might disappoint you, and I am being gentle about it.
So it is like preparing them for the no before the no arrives?
Perfectly said. It cushions the refusal. It makes it feel less like a door being slammed and more like a door being gently closed.
I like that image, a gently closed door. So how do we use it?
You complete it with your reason or with a kind alternative. For example, I'm afraid I can't attend the meeting on Thursday, but I will send you my notes beforehand. Or in a more casual situation, I'm afraid I can't make it tonight. I hope you have a wonderful time, though.
Okay, let me try. My colleague asked me to cover their shift this weekend. I say, I'm afraid I can't cover this weekend. I already have a commitment,
but I'm happy to help you find someone else.
That is perfect, Alex. You said no, you were kind, you offered an alternative. That is a complete professional refusal.
It actually felt okay to say, which is not how saying no usually feels for me.
That is the power of the right phrase. It changes how you feel when you say it.
Phrase number 2?
Phrase number 2 is one of my personal favorites because it sounds warm even when you are declining. The phrase is, I'd love to, but.
I'd love to, but. So you are starting with enthusiasm before the no.
Exactly. You lead with genuine warmth. I'd love to tells the person, I value this. I value you. This sounds wonderful. And then, but redirects into your honest answer.
It is kind of like giving someone a gift with one hand and then gently taking something away with the other, but in a good way.
Yes, in a very kind way. Let's hear it in context. Your friend invites you to their party on Saturday. You genuinely cannot go. You say, I'd love to come to your party, but I have a family commitment this weekend. Can we plan something just the two of us soon?
You declined the party, but you kept the friendship completely intact. Actually, you even strengthened it by suggesting a one-on-one plan.
Exactly. Saying no doesn't have to end a connection. It can actually deepen it when done with care.
Okay, I will try one. A friend asks me to join their business venture. I am not interested, but I don't want to hurt them. I say, I'd love to support you in this, but I'm not in a position to join as a partner right now. I genuinely believe in what you're building, though.
That is beautiful, Alex. You honored them, you were honest, and you left the door open. That is emotional intelligence in action.
I surprise myself. Again.
Phrase number 3. And this one is for when you need to be a little more firm, a little more clear. No extra softening, just a clean, respectful refusal. The phrase is, that doesn't work for me.
Ooh, that one has more edge to it.
It does, and that is intentional. Sometimes a softer phrase like, I'd love to, but, is not enough. Sometimes someone pushes back, or the situation requires you to be very clear without being harsh. That doesn't work for me is direct, but it is not rude.
What makes it not rude?
The for me part. You are not saying their idea is bad. You are not criticizing them. You are simply stating, this particular thing does not work within my life, my schedule, or my values. It is about you, not about them.
That is a subtle but very important distinction.
Very important. Here is an example. Someone at work keeps scheduling meetings at 7 a.m. You have said it's difficult before, and they have ignored it. You say calmly, I appreciate you including me, but 7 o'clock doesn't work for me. Can we find a time after 9?
You weren't aggressive. You weren't apologetic. You were just clear.
Exactly. Clear is kind, because unclear answers create confusion, and confusion creates more pressure.
I want to try. Someone keeps asking me to change my approach on a project in a way I disagree with. I say, I hear your perspective, and I want to be honest. That approach doesn't work for me. Can we talk about finding a middle ground?
Excellent. You held your position. You stayed open to conversation. That is professional confidence.
Okay, phrase number 4. And I have a feeling this one is going to be one of my most used phrases in daily life. What is it?
Phrase number 4 is casual, modern, and very natural in everyday English. The phrase is, I need to pass on this one.
I need to pass on this one. That sounds very relaxed, very natural.
It is. Pass in this context means to skip or decline. It is used a lot in informal situations with friends, colleagues, and in casual conversation. It does not require an explanation, and it does not carry any heaviness. It is light and easy.
So when would I use this instead of the other phrases?
Great question. Use I'm afraid I can't in formal situations. Use I'd love to, but when you want to be warm. Use that doesn't work for me when you need to be firm.
And use I need to pass on this one when the situation is casual and you just want to decline without making a big deal of it.
Okay, so it is like having 4 different tools and choosing the right one for the right job.
Exactly. Every phrase has its place. That is what fluency really means. Not just knowing the words, but knowing which words to use and when.
Let me try this one. A group of colleagues asks me to join them for drinks after work. I am tired and I just want to go home. I say, thanks for the invite. I'm going to need to pass on this one. Have a great time though.
Perfect. Short, friendly, no drama. You said no and no one felt rejected.
It really is that simple, isn't it? We make it so complicated in our heads.
We do. And that is exactly why we are having this conversation today.
Friends, if you are finding this helpful,
Please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to Boundless English, and share it with someone who struggles to say no, because they need these phrases too.
And comment the word free below, because that is what saying no gives you. Your freedom back. We read every single comment, and we love hearing from you.
Phrase number 5?
Phrase number 5 is a very useful one for situations where you genuinely are not sure yet, or you need time before giving a final answer. The phrase is, let me get back to you on that one.
Oh, I know this one, but I want to understand it better, because I have heard people use it as a way to avoid saying no, like they never actually get back to the person.
That is a very honest observation, Alex. And you are right. Some people do misuse it as a delay tactic. But used honestly, it is a completely valid and respectful phrase. It means, I need time to think about this before I give you a proper answer.
so when should I use it genuinely?
Use it when someone asks you something unexpected and you feel pressured to answer immediately. Use it when you need to check your schedule, your budget, or your priorities before committing. Use it when you are genuinely undecided, and you owe it to both of you to think properly before answering.
And the key is, you actually get back to them.
Yes, the key is follow through. If you say, let me get back to you, you must get back to them. Otherwise, it destroys trust.
Okay. A client asks me if I can take on a large project starting next month. I'm not sure I have the capacity. I say, that sounds like an interesting project. Let me get back to you on that by end of week. I want to make sure I can give it the attention it deserves. Beautiful. You showed interest, you set a clear timeline for your answer, and you gave a reason that respects their project. That is a professional and honest use of the phrase. And now I'll have to actually follow up by end of week.
You do. Always. Your word is your brand.
Phrase number 6. I feel like this one is going to be more formal.
Very formal. This one is for workplace situations, professional emails, and any context where you need to sound polished and composed.
The phrase is, I'm not in a position to.
I'm not in a position to. That sounds very official.
It does. And that is the point. When you say, I'm not in a position to, you are signaling that this is a considered professional decision. It is not personal. It is not emotional. It is simply a matter of circumstance, or authority, or capacity.
Can you give me an example?
Of course. Imagine someone asks you to approve a budget that is above your authority. You say, I appreciate you bringing this to me, but I'm not in a position to approve this amount. You'll need to take it to the senior team.
You redirected them appropriately without making them feel dismissed.
Exactly. Or imagine a business offer that does not align with your current goals. You can say, thank you for thinking of me. I'm not in a position to take this on at the moment, but I'll keep you in mind for future opportunities.
That is very gracious. You said no, but you left every door open.
That is the goal. In professional life, you never know who you will need to work with again. Saying no gracefully keeps every relationship intact.
Let me try. Someone asks me to make a promise I cannot guarantee. I say,
I want to be honest with you, I'm not in a position to guarantee that outcome. What I can commit to is doing my absolute best.
That is excellent, Alex. You were honest, you set a realistic expectation, and you still showed commitment. That is trustworthy communication.
Phrase number 7?
Phrase number 7 is one of the most empowering phrases on our list today because it does not just say no, it tells people what you are saying yes to instead. The phrase is, I have to prioritize.
Oh, I really like that one. It reframes the no as a yes to something more important.
Exactly. When you say, I have to prioritize, you are not running away from something, you are running towards something that matters more. It shows self-awareness. It shows that you know your own values and commitments.
And it completely removes the guilt, because you are not rejecting them, you are simply being honest about where your attention needs to go.
Perfectly put. Here is an example. A colleague asks you to join an optional working group that meets every Friday afternoon. You already use that time for deep, focused work. You say, I really appreciate the invitation, but I have to prioritize my focused work time on Fridays. It is when I do my best thinking.
And nobody can argue with that. You are not saying their group is unimportant. You are saying your existing commitment is important.
Exactly. You can also use it in a personal context. If a friend asks you to go out when you're feeling overwhelmed, you say, I'd love to see you soon, but this week I have to prioritize some rest. Can we make a plan for next weekend?
You said no to the outing, but yes to the friendship and yes to your own well-being. Both things coexist.
Beautiful. Do you want to try one?
Yes. My team keeps asking me to attend optional social events that I find draining. I want to be honest without seeming unfriendly. I say, I really value the team and I want you to know that. But I have to prioritize my energy right now. I'll be there for the ones that matter most.
That is honest, kind, and self-aware. Your team will respect you more for that honesty, not less.
It is strange, isn't it? Honesty feels vulnerable, but it actually builds more trust than people-pleasing.
It does. Every single time.
Okay, last phrase. Phrase number 8. What have you saved for last?
Phrase number 8 is the longest phrase we have taught today, but it is worth every word. Use this when you want to sound composed, thoughtful, and final, without leaving any room for negotiation. The phrase is, that's not something I'm able to commit to right now.
That's not something I'm able to commit to right now. That is very complete. It closes the door firmly, but without any harshness.
Exactly. Every word is doing a job. That's not something keeps the tone neutral. You're commenting on the situation, not attacking the person. I'm able to acknowledges your own limits honestly. To commit to emphasizes that you take commitment seriously. And right now leaves a small, dignified opening without promising anything.
So it is firm, but not forever.
Precisely. It is a closed door today with a window left slightly open for the future. Here's an example. Someone persistently asks you to take on a leadership role you do not want right now. You say, I'm flattered that you thought of me for this, but that's not something I'm able to commit to right now. I want to give it the attention it deserves, and the timing isn't right for me.
You refused the role, you honored the offer, you gave a reason, and you left the future open, all in 2 sentences.
Exactly. That is what a well-crafted phrase gives you. Efficiency and grace at the same time.
Let me try. A client keeps pushing me to lower my prices significantly. I have considered it and decided it is not right for me. I say, I really appreciate your interest in working together, but that's not something I'm able to commit to right now. My pricing reflects the quality and time I bring to each project.
That was outstanding, Alex. You held your value, you were respectful, and you explained your reasoning without being defensive. You could literally send that in an email tomorrow.
Maybe I will.
Okay, friends, game time. I am going to give you 5 real situations, and Alex is going to show you how to use today's phrases to respond with confidence. Ready, Alex?
So ready. Bring it on.
Situation 1. Your manager asks you to work late every Friday for the next 2 months. You already have personal commitments on Friday evenings. What do you say?
Okay,
I want to be respectful, but also honest. I say, I really appreciate you thinking of me for this, but Friday evenings don't work for me. I have a standing commitment I need to honor. I'm happy to explore other options. Could we look at a different day, or could I put in extra time earlier in the week?
Excellent. You were clear, you offered an alternative, and you protected your personal time without being difficult. That is an A-plus answer. Thank you, thank you. Situation 2. An acquaintance keeps asking you to invest money in their new business idea. You are not interested. How do you decline without damaging the friendship?
This is a delicate one. I would say, I'm really glad you shared this with me, and I'd love to see it succeed. But I'm not in a position to invest right now. I need to prioritize my own financial commitments at the moment. I genuinely hope it goes well, though.
Perfect. You used 2 of today's phrases in one response. Not in a position to, and need to prioritize. 2 different tools working together beautifully. They stack, don't they? The phrases can combine. They can, and when they do, the response sounds natural and complete rather than rehearsed. Situation 3. A close friend asks you to help them move apartments next Saturday. You are exhausted from a difficult week, and you desperately need rest. You care about the friendship, but you genuinely cannot.
This one requires warmth. I'd love to help you move. You know I would. But I need to pass on this one. This week has really taken it out of me, and I have to prioritize some rest this weekend. Can I treat you to dinner once you're settled in? That's something I can genuinely commit to. Oh, that was wonderful. You showed genuine care, you were honest about your reason, and you replaced the no with a different yes that suits you. That is friendship at its best. It is not about abandoning the person. It is about being honest about what you can actually give. Exactly. Situation 4. Someone at work sends you a long email asking for your opinion on a complex decision. You have received it at a very busy moment and cannot give it the attention it deserves yet. What do you say? Thank you for sharing this with me. It is clearly an important decision, and I want to give it proper thought. Let me get back to you on that by tomorrow afternoon. I want to make sure my input is actually useful to you. Textbook. You acknowledged the importance of their question, you gave a specific time frame, and you framed the delay as being in their interest. That is sophisticated communication. I feel like I have leveled up just from recording this episode. That is the goal. Okay, final situation. Situation 5. A recruiter calls you offering a job opportunity. You are not looking for a new job right now, and you are not interested. How do you decline gracefully without burning a bridge? Bridges. I never want to burn bridges. So I would say, I really appreciate you reaching out. And I'm flattered you thought of me. That's not something I'm able to commit to right now. I'm focused on my current role and where it's heading. But I'd love to stay connected for future conversations. Brilliant. You declined the job. You kept the relationship. You left the future completely open. That recruiter will remember you positively and come back with something better down the road. Because you never know what the next conversation might bring. You never do. Okay, friends, let's bring everything together. Let's review all 8 phrases we learned today. Phrase 1, I'm afraid I can't. For polite, softened refusals in any situation. Phrase 2, I'd love to, but. For warm, friendly declines that protect the relationship.
Phrase 3, that doesn't work for me. For clear, firm responses when you need to hold your ground. Phrase 4, I need to pass on this one. For casual, light, no drama declines with friends and colleagues.
Phrase 5.
Let me get back to you on that. For when you genuinely need time before giving your answer.
Phrase 6. I'm not in a position to. For professional, formal refusals in workplace and business settings.
Phrase 7. I have to prioritize. For honest, values-based declines that show self-awareness.
And phrase 8. That's not something I'm able to commit to right now. For firm, graceful, final answers that leave no room for pressure.
8 phrases, 8 different ways to protect your time, your energy, and your relationships all at the same time.
And here is what I want you to remember above everything else. Saying no is not unkind. Saying no is not selfish. Saying no when it is your honest answer is one of the most respectful things you can do for the other person and for yourself. I came into today's episode as someone who genuinely struggles with this, and I feel genuinely different now. Not because the phrases are magic words, but because understanding why these phrases work has changed how I think about saying no. That is the real lesson, friends. The phrases are tools, but the mindset is the foundation. When you believe that your time and energy have value, the words will come naturally, and your English will just carry them. Beautifully said, Alex. Now, friends, here is your challenge for this week, your listener challenge. Before our next episode, I want you to use at least one of today's phrases in a real situation. It could be at work, with a friend, in a message, or in an email. Any situation where you need to say no, use one of these phrases. And then come back and tell us in the comments. Tell us which phrase you used, what the situation was, and how it felt. We read every single comment, and your story might just help someone else who is watching. Comment the word free below if you are ready to take this challenge, because that is what saying no gives you. Your time, your energy, your freedom. We are so proud of every single one of you for showing up and learning today. This is not easy work, but it is the most important work. We will see you in the next episode of Boundless English. Until then, take care of yourselves. Set some boundaries, use your phrases, and keep growing. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Boundless English, and share it with a friend who is learning English. Your support means everything to us. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye. See you next time.